Assalamu alaikum. Now we will do the exercise of Unit 12, Beautiful Hands. So let's move on to the glossary part. I'll tell you some of the difficult words from the poem and their meaning and their use in the sentence. So the first word is such. As we have seen in both of the stanzas, the word such is used in the start. So it is used because to add emphasis, to put more emphasis on that word. So Ali is such a nice guy. Another word is scarcely. It means almost not. The water is scarcely present in our area. Another word is hue. So it means a degree of lightness, darkness, strength of a color. The sentence is the hues of sunset at the sky were delightful to watch. Hues to the color the color wala strength to the lightness, the dark the light the तेज the color no color bari ki chida kana agata hues distant it means far away. Shoshe Larry. Yumna was distant, so I had to shout back to call her. Another word is sculptor. It means a person who has art of forming solid objects that represent a thing, person, idea, etc. out of materials such as wood, clay, or stone. Sculptor چې د اخکستي چې کوم چې د کنه د لاس سره سخت شی نه جوړي لکه ووډ نه کلی نه صحیح شو لرګي نه جوړ کی یا کلی نه جوړ کی یا کاڼي نه جوړ کی نو هغه ته سکلپټر یي هغه یو کس بریکینګ کې دی شي او شي بریکینګ کې دی شي sentence is Michelangelo was a famous sculptor. Another word is wrinkled. It means having small lines on skin because of old age. Chukum insan buddha shi wala skin mani chukum lines rashi the wrinkles. Wrinkles are the beauty of old age. Weary means very tired. Like a dear insan chikala stadashi no state the weary. Sentence I felt weary after cleaning the home. Toiling. Toiling means to work hard. چې ډیر سخت مهنت کوون چې شي بني. Sentence is working for the exam was such a toiling experience. So these were some of the difficult words from the poem and I have shown you how to use them in a sentence and their meanings too. So the next part is that of comprehension. So it has various questions. So the first question is who does the poetess praise in this poem? Jalaka poetess da chawala zikr ki chawala tarif ki de poem ke. The poetess is praising her mother's hands in the poem for their spiritual beauty. No poetess چې دا کنه خپل مور ولا لاسونو بری کې چې دا کنه تعریف کوي هغه ولا روحاني جسمانی خوبصورتي بری کې. What words or phrases tells us that mother's hand are not pretty in the physical sense? Each poem کې داسې words دي چې عام متخیل چې د mother's ولا hand like a physical sense کې یا جسمانی sense کې چې دا کنه نه دي خسته نو کوم داسې words دي. So the words ages and wrinkled tells us that hands are not beautiful in their physical appearance. They are neither fair nor small but rough and big. As we have gone through the poem, so it tells us that the mother's hands have grown old and they have got wrinkles and they have got furrows. So now they are not beautiful for other people, but they are still beautiful for me. And so they are also not fair, nor they are small, but they are big and rough hands. The poem کې چې دا کنه چې کوم د word استعمال شوی دی ages and wrinkled نو دې نه موږ ته پته لګي چې مور ولا لاسونه چې دا زړه شولو او اوس هغه څه نه دي ښایسته چې پهله به څنګه یو په پویټس دپاره خو به هم ښایسته وي خو هسې جنرالي خبره کوي چې هغه نه سپین دي نه وړه دي بلکې غټ او رف لاسونه یې دي. Why does the poetess praise in the second hands in the second stanza? So each poetess to the second stanza के hands to the और तारीफ लगी. The poetess praised that in childhood her mother's hands worked hard in order to make children happy. Her mother's hands are symbol of love, sacrifice, labor, and affection for her children. Each poetess to the kana خپل مور ولا سونو ولا تعریف دی وجه نه کوي چې اچ دا کنه هغه ولا وړوکوالي کې دا خو له مور ډیر زیات خیال ساتلی و او نو هغې ولا چې مور ولا کوم لاسونه دي کنه سمبل دی یو قسم ته مینې والا سیکریفایس والا محنت والا هغو دپاره خیال ساتنو دپاره Who is the speaker in the poem? The poetess herself is the speaker in the poem and remembers her mother's hands. It is speaker the poem के څوک ده نو هغه poetess چې ده هغه خپله speaker ده مطلب هغه خپله narrate کوي دا poem. Write the main idea of poem. The main idea of poem is that mothers do a lot of work for their children, no matter how much of the struggles they have to face. They always look after their children patiently, although their hands become wrinkled and weak with the passage of time. So the main idea of is that mothers never stop caring for their children, for their family, and so they would do what they can, what is in their ability, no matter how much struggles they have to face, you know. So and so with time they become weak, but still they would care for you. چې مین آیډیا د پویم ولا چې شدي نو ادا ده چې بچی چې څه مطلب مور ته چې کلم څورن تکلیف وي کنه خپل بچو د لپاره کار نه پریدي خپل بچو ولا خیال ساتل نه پریدي نو چې دا کنه یو قسم ته کا بوډا شي یا مور بوډۍ شي نو هي سره چې دا کنه هي ولا مهنت او هغه کیر به هم نه ختميږي. Why is the first word such written in all capital? The word such is written in capital at the start of every stanza because it puts more emphasis on how beautiful hands are. So basically, the word such is mentioned to emphasize on the beauty of her mother's hands. Each of the such wala word to the چیش ته هر یو stanza ولا start کې capital کې لیکل نو د دې لپاره لیکل چې such یو داسې ورډ دی چې کوم سره مو یو شي باندې چې دا کنه فوکس کو یا مو یو شي باندې emphasis اچو چې دا هغې کې مطلب چې دا وکي کې اخیستا دي. How can we pay back what our mothers does for us? We should take care of our mothers and help them in everything they do for us. We should also look after them for what they need and give them some time of our day. But in the real sense, truly, we can never pay back to our mothers. As we know that as our mothers and parents get old, they need us. You know, they need their children. They need the care of their children. But they would never ask for it. They would always care for their children. So what we can do is that we should take care of them. We should spend some time with them, even when we are busy. So that's how we can, can pay back a little, but not as our parents, our mothers have done for us. چې موږ خپل مور پلار دپاره څنګه واپس چې دی که نه هغو ته هغه څه کوی شو چې کوم هغه مو دپاره کړي نو موږ ته پکار ده چې موږ خپل مور پلار والا خیال ساتو هغو والا هر یو نیډ والا خیال ساتو هغو ته چې شی پکار وي هغه ورکوو هغې نه علاوه موږ ته پکار ده چې هغو سره ټایم سپینډ کوو خپل ریزې خپل بیزي روټین کې چې د هغو ته ټایم وباسو خو بیا هم که مو ډېر څه وکړو که نه مو هغسې هغه برابري دی نه شو چې کوم مو دپاره مور پلار کړي وي. So the next part is how to summarize a poem. Summary is putting down the main ideas of someone else's work in your own words. A summary is always shorter than the original because the idea is to include only the main points of the original work and leave out the irrelevant. So summary is basically a very short paragraph about the poem and that we write in our own words that we we generally tell about what is being told in this poem and what is the idea of this poem basically. So in doing so, we emphasize more on important points, and we exclude and we do not include the other irrelevant details. We are just focusing on the main details of the poem. نو سمري چې دا کنه دغه سوي چې لکه مو مین آیډیا باندې فوکس کوو چې لکه د پویم کې اصل کې کوم یو شی باره کې ټول نه زیاته خبره شوي صحیح شو هغه کې همیشه وړاوي پویم نه وړاوي سمري نو هغه کې چې دا کنه هغه د لپاره مو صرف مین پوینټس باندې فوکس کوو چې کوم شی نه ضروری نه وي منشن کوون هغه مو پرېږدو صحیح شو نو یو بالکل وړو کې باندې پیراګراف چې دا کنه آیو سمري وي Keep the following points in mind while summarizing a poem. Read the poem thoroughly, try to understand the meaning, write down the points, arrange the points in order, find the conclusion, write it in proper order. A summary is usually 1/3 of the size of the original. So these are some of the points that we need to focus while we are writing down a summary. دا چې دا یو څو پوینټس خالی دي چې کوم ولا بو خیال ساتل پکار وي چې کله تاسو یو سمری لیکي یو پویم ولا سمری لیکي نو پهله خو چې دا پهله پکار ده چې مو پویم چې دا ډیر ډیټیل سره سوچ سمجھ سره وي چې د کی خبره سګيږي هغه ولا مینینګ انډرسټاند کولو کوشش وکړو به چې کوم ته سمجھ رالو پوینټس هم ځان سره ولیکو چې خدي کې دا خبره شي هغه نه بعد پوینټس مغه فارم کې به ارینج کړئ چې کومه طریقې سره پویم کې خبره ارینج شوی دی کنه سټپ بای سټپ به وو هغه چې دا کنکلود کې یو پیراګراف کې به ولیکو او صحیح پراپر چې دا کنه آرډر کې یو پیراګراف کې او د زیدالي کلی چې it is usually 1/3 size مطلب لکه اوس پویم دا ناول درېمه حصہ چې دا کنه دورا شارټ بولی کې سمري So this is the summary of this poem. So I will tell you the example how to write a summary. So the poetess pays rich compliments to her mother. She praises the beauty of her mother's hands, though these hands are wrinkled and not beautiful physically, yet they are sacred, sweet, and dear to her. When she was a child, these hands worked hard to comfort her and to make her happy. These hands are now old and weak. Time is coming near when her mother will depart from this world, but in the life hereafter, everything will become bright, beautiful, and young again. The poet hopes to embrace her mother's hands there. So basically, in summary, we have to write a line or two from each stanza so that it gives a complete idea about what is being told in each stanza, and we have to summarize those sentences in a single paragraph. نو دا تاسو وګورئ چې سمري کې چې دا کنه هر یو سټنزا والا مین خبره ولیکئ چې هر سټنزا کې کوم یو شی ډیسکس شوی دی آیا تاسو یو دوه لاین کې چې دا کنه هر یو سټنزا لیکئ شو او بل لاینز چې تاسو دې طریقې سره سمرایز کړئ So now the next part is that of reading comprehension. So here we will discuss similes. A simile is a poetic technique that compares two things using the words like or as. So basically when we are comparing two things with each other and in that comparison we use the words like and or as. For example, I was standing perfectly still like a statue. Still like a statue. The biscuit was as tasteless as mud. So you can see that here two things being still and is compared with statue and tasteless is compared with mud, but here like and as are used in between them. Similarly یو داسې ټیکنیک وی کنه چې کوم کې مو ورډز لکه لایک شو لکه دوه شي نه یو بل سره چې دا کنه کمپیریزن کو هغه یو بل سره کمپیر کوو نو هغه لپاره مو ورډز لایک یا به as استعمالو لکه د لاندې اگزامپلز کې وګوره چې standing perfectly still like a statue لکه still بالکل داسې ویلاړون چې لکه statue وي صحیح شو نو ما ولا ویلاړیدن statue سره کمپیر شوی بل اگزامپل کې بسکټ چې دا کنه بسکټ ولا کمپیریزن څه چې بسکټ ټیسټلیس و څنګه ایز ا مډ لکه خاټوي لکه بسکټ ول ټیسټ دسي ولا خاټوي نو ټیسټلیس څنګه مډ نو دوه شي نو ولا کمپیریزن نو دا The technique the simile. So read the poem aloud, work in pairs, and underline the similes. So basically, this is a ginkgo tree and this is a willow tree. And now we will compare in a poem and we will see what kind of similes are used for both of these trees. So now in first stanza it is the willow is like an etching, like an willow, like an etching. So this is a simile. Willow tree fine lined against the sky. Then ginkgo is like a crude sketch. Ginkgo like a crude sketch. So it is being compared with a crude sketch. Hardly worthy to be signed. The willow's music is like a soprano. Now, the music of willow is music like a soprano is a simile for willow tree. Delicate and thin. The ginkgo's tune is like a chorus. Tune like a chorus is another simile for a ginkgo tree, with everyone joining in. The willow is sleek as velvet nosed calf. So, sleek as velvet nosed calf is the simile for willow tree. The ginkgo is leathery as an old bull. Leathery as an old bull is a simile for ginkgo tree. The willow's branches are like silken thread. Now here the branches are being discussed. So branches like silken thread. Now it is for willow tree. The ginkgos and the ginkgos, I haven't underlined this, but it is still a simile. The ginkgos like stubby rough wool. You know, the branches of ginkgo are being described as like stubby rough wool. So these are some of the similes that we can, you know, have been written, have been noted from this poem for both of these trees, how they have been compared with other characteristics. So these were some of the examples of simile. Tas waqt hi chala kada poem ki change chida kana willow tree or ginkgo tree wala similes chida kana ma underline kadi di mi wala willow wala music bari ke dwar wala similes ma underline kadu be do wala chida kana nor features branches bari ki या दोला overall structure बरी के चदा कना similes use shabidi no am underline crew. So I hope you have got the idea about how similes are used in the poem with the words like and as. So now we will move on to the grammar part, that is sentence structure SVO pattern. SVO is a sentence structure where the subject comes first, the verb second, and the object is third. Sentence structure chida kana ahi ke pehla mu हमेशा sentence वाला structure दसी की दूचे पहला पके subject रची बे verb रची बे पके object रची. For example, I completed my work. So here the subject is always about who and what. If it's a person or if it's a thing that we are talking about, so it is mostly written first. Then completed is a verb, so it will be written second. And my homework, what has been done or what action, something that receives an action is known as object. So my homework will be placed in third position. The subject of a sentence can be singular or plural. It can be both. The subject can be singular or plural. The verb must always agree with its subject. It means that the verb should be related to the subject. देखिए चला करा the example के तो सोग रही I चला यो subject दा हमेशा सोग उच्चिशे दा question answer की subject हमेशा दावी नो दाबा हमेशा first position क्या चे बेर पसे verb भी चुकुम completed the object और object अक्षिते चुकुम मने action कीगी नो my homework चला कना आयु ऑब्जेक्ट शो नदाबो मु हमेशा थर्ड प्लेस के किदू subject da singular ki deshi plural ki deshi o hamisha pokar da subject o verb wala khpala ki link wi no da yo sentence structure da SVO pattern with direct and indirect object. So a direct object is a word that is affected by the action of verb directly, and indirect object tells to whom or for whom the action of the verb is done. So basically, a direct object is something on which the action is done directly. An indirect object, it tells about for whom and to whom that action has been done or action of the verb is done. No direct object chida kana adda shevi chikum mane verb wala direct action vi. Or indirect object chida kana aga shekhi chila ka cha de para o chishi de para chida kana the action shavida. For example, Shazia give Sadaf a doll. Here, Shazia is a subject, give is an action, a verb. Sadaf is an indirect object. Because direct object was that Shazia was giving a doll, so direct object was here, direct object would be a doll. And who received it? For whom the action was done? Sadaf. So she will be indirect object. Now, tas the Shazia gives Sadaf a doll. Dazi Shazia pake subject da, give pake verb da, o dazi che Shazia che ver kaulu doll. Sahi sho. No direct action chi di involve kai a doll da. No a sho direct object. Chate ver kaulu aga Sadaf da. No aga indirect object kresi. The pattern could be subject plus verb plus direct or indirect object or subject verb plus indirect plus direct object. So okay, here both of patterns can be present in the sentence. So here you can see both of the patterns. So here the question is rewrite the sentences under SVO, sentence verb, subject verb object, direct object and indirect object pattern. So we have one has been done. So here a table is being shown and we have to place all of them in correct order. So the first one is Arshad gave the dog a bone. Arshad is a subject, verb give, the dog. So basically Arshad was carrying a bone, so it will be a direct object. To the dog, so it is indirect object. He sent us some foreign stamps. He is subject, sent is verb. Some foreign stamps are direct object and indirect object is us. The doctor gave her an injection. The doctor is subject, gave is verb. An injection is a direct object and who received it? It's her. So it's an indirect object. Sarah sent Palwasha a gift. So Sarah is a subject, sent is a verb. Here a gift is a direct object, so that's why it is mentioned in the column of direct object, and Palwasha is indirect object. She offered me a firm handshake. She is subject, offered is a verb. Firm handshake is direct object, and me is who received the action. That was me, so it is indirect object. They sold him pictures. So they is a subject, sold is a verb, and direct object here is pictures and which is indirect object is him. So these were some of the examples of how we can place them in their correct order. So here we have to identify whether the words in bold are used as direct objects or indirect objects. Dazi bu mudda identify ko chi dazi chukum words the are direct object kirasi ka indirect object kirasi. So the first one is she sent her friend a letter. She sent her friend a letter. It is an indirect object because she was sending a letter. A letter is a direct object here, but her friend is an indirect object. Sadaf will help you with your school homework. So, will help you is a direct object. I need your help. It's an indirect object. He gave them a bag full of money. It's a direct object. Sorry, it is he. I have written here wrong, so you can correct it because he gives them a bag full of money. Them is an indirect object. He sold his car is direct object. So that's how we can identify direct and indirect object in the sentence. I hope you have got the idea about the grammar part of how we keep the sentence structure, how there are different types of subject, verb, and object. There are two types of objects, direct and indirect object. If you have any questions related to this grammar part, you can comment down in the comment section, and I'll give you the answer. See you in the next video.
फारूक फाउंडेशन ऑनलाइन स्कूल तमाम तलबा और तालिबात के लिए खुशखबरी। जदीद साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी की मदद से क्लास अव्वल ता दहम ये तालीमी बोर्ड तैयार किया गया है, जिससे आप मैट्रिक तक का इम्तिहान बगैर किसी ट्यूशन पास कर सकते हैं। मजीद KPK का निसाब भी मौजूद है। हमारी तमाम वीडियोस यूट्यूब पर मौजूद हैं। किसी किस्म की कोई फीस नहीं चार्ज की जाती। आप हमारे जूम प्रोग्राम में भी दाखिला ले सकते हैं। फारूक फाउंडेशन ऑनलाइन स्कूल।
इसको इस तरह पढ़ना है कि अभी तक हमने फ्रैक्शन के बारे में पढ़ा था कि 1/2 क्या होता है।
एज फॉलोज, एक जनरल इक्वेशन हमें बताई गई है फोटोसिंथेसिस की, हम लोग उसको देख लेते हैं। यहाँ पे क्या है, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड है हमारे पास
इतना इसका, तो फिर ये बन जाता है, ये है सर्कल ही, ठीक है। अगर हम जोड़ देंगे तो ये सर्कल हो जाएगा, लेकिन अभी ये क्या है,
हीट उस हीट पर कम तरीक़ों ट्रांसफ़र की हर तरीके मंगवायो थर्मल
जो ग्लोमेरुलर फिल्ट्रेट है, यहाँ पर मेन काम होता है कि पानी को अब्जॉर्प्शन का, यानी कि उसकी कंजर्वेशन का मेन काम कहाँ पर होता है, ये ग्लोमेरुलर फिल्ट्रेट यानी वुमेन कैप्सूल